What if I told you there's this one habit that's secretly tiring you out, killing your confidence, and keeping you stuck in life? You feel drained, unmotivated, and trapped in a cycle you can't seem to break. But what if the secret to amazing self-control and real masculinity has been right in front of you this whole time? Stick with me, because after hearing this, you'll never look at this habit the same way again. What's the habit? It's masturbation, yes. That thing nobody really talks about, but a lot of people do. What if this harmless habit is actually messing you up more than you think? Way back, the Stoics figured out something we often ignore today. They knew all about discipline, the downside of chasing quick pleasure, and how to take control of yourself. I'm going to share their secrets so you can break free, get your energy back, and change your life. Let's be real, you felt it. That guilt afterward, the tiredness, that empty vibe like something's slipping away. Why does it hit like that? Science has an answer. Every time you do it, your brain gets a big blast of dopamine. That's the feel-good chemical. Sounds cool, right? Not so much. Dopamine is like a reward signal in your brain. When you get too much of it too easily, your brain starts craving more and more. It's the same reason people get hooked on junk food, scrolling through social media, or even drugs. The more you do it, the more your brain gets hooked on that quick one. It's hook on that quick, easy high, an addiction, your drive to go after real goals like getting fit or finishing a project fades because your brain's already happy without you doing anything worth it. Studies back this up. Excessive masturbation can lead to something called dopamine desensitization. That's when your brain gets so used to those big dopamine hits that it stops responding to smaller, everyday rewards. Things that used to make you happy, like hanging out with friends, nailing a task at work, or just feeling good about yourself, don't feel as satisfying anymore. It's like your brain's pleasure thermostat is broken. You need more and more to feel the same level of satisfaction, but even then, it's never enough. Researchers say this. Overstimulation can even mess with your focus and memory over time, making it harder to stay sharp. And it's not just about feeling tired or unmotivated. This habit can mess with your confidence too. Every time you give in, especially when you promised yourself you wouldn't, it chips away at your self-trust. You start to feel like you can't control yourself, and that doubt spills over into other parts of your life. Maybe you start thinking, if I can't even handle this, how am I supposed to tackle bigger challenges like asking for a raise or starting a business? It's a vicious cycle that keeps you stuck. There's more. Ever notice how wiped out you feel after doing it, especially at night? That's because your body releases prolactin, a hormone that makes you sleepy. It's nature's way of chilling you out. But if you're overdoing it, you might feel tired all the time, even after a solid 8 hours of sleep. Your energy levels crash, and it's tough to get through the day with any real pep. Less energy means less drive, and less drive means you're not showing up as your best self. Those Stoics from ancient times, they saw this coming long before science had fancy terms for it. They said stuff like, if you can't control yourself, you're not really free, and they were spot on. Every time you give in, it's like you're handing over the reins saying, I'm weak, when really, it's the habit running the show. One Stoic philosopher, Seneca, said, you're not free if your body's calling the shots. That's what happens when you let pleasure take over. Every time you give in, you're training yourself to be weak. You start thinking, I need this. But really, it's got you trapped. Another Stoic, Marcus Aurelius, he was a Roman emperor, no less, believed you've got to rule your desires, not let them rule you. He wrote in his journal, if you can't say no, you'll never feel truly free. The more you chase that quick fix, the more stuck you get, and the further you drift from real happiness. Stoicism is a philosophy all about living a good life by focusing on what you can control, like your thoughts and actions, and letting go of what you can't, like random events or other people's opinions. The Stoics believed true happiness comes from virtue, which means being a good, strong person, not from chasing external stuff like pleasure or money. They saw pleasure as a double-edged sword. It feels good right away, but if you let it run your life, it owns you. And when something owns you, you're not free. Epictetus, another Stoic big shot, put it this way: freedom is not procured by a full enjoyment of what is desired, but by controlling the desire. Translation: real freedom isn't about getting everything you want. It's about not being a slave to your cravings. That's deep. Here's the thing: the Stoics weren't totally against pleasure. They just believed in balance. What they called temperance. They thought pleasure was fine as long as it didn't mess with your goals or values. So say no to overdoing this habit. That's not just about quitting, it's about living a balanced, meaningful life. Think about history's great warriors like Alexander the Great, leaders like Abraham Lincoln, thinkers like Leonardo da Vinci. They all had one thing in common: they didn't let their urges boss them around. They mastered self-control, stayed laser-focused on their missions, and didn't waste time on cheap thrills. That's what set them apart while others stayed average. So, how do you get out of this mess and take back control? Here are 3 Stoic-inspired tricks: self-discipline, purpose, and smart energy use. Let's break them down. Epictetus said, "You're not free unless you're in charge of yourself." It starts with saying no. When you resist this habit, you're reclaiming your power. It's not about denying yourself everything. It's about choosing what matters over what's easy. Each time you say no, your willpower gets a little stronger, like flexing a muscle. Over time, those urges lose their grip. Try this exercise. Start a no streak. Every day you resist, mark it on a calendar. Aim to build a chain of days without giving in. It's like a game. How long can you keep it going? If you slip, don't sweat it. Just start over. The Stoics cared about effort, not perfection. Another tip: when the urge hits, pause. Take a deep breath and ask, is this what I really want, or just a habit? Give yourself a second to think. Often, the craving fades if you wait it out. Here's a Stoic bonus. Try negative visualization. Picture your life in 5 years if you don't change, still stuck, unmotivated, disappointed. Then imagine the flip side: confident, successful, happy. That contrast can fire you up to stick with it. The Stoics believed a life without purpose is pointless. A lot of men fall into this habit. Bikai, or doghand something bigger to chase. If you're busy working on a real goal like learning a skill, starting a side gig, or getting in shape, do you really have time for this? Replace the habit with something that actually makes you proud. Here's a simple move. Write down 3 goals for the next months. Keep them clear, like hit the gym 3 times a week or read 1 book. When the urge creeps in, remind yourself, I'm building something better. It shifts your focus to the positive. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It could be helping a friend, improving yourself, or making something cool. The point is to have a reason to get up that's stronger than the habit. Use your energy wisely. Turn it into power. Ancient warriors and geniuses knew sexual energy is a big deal. Waste it, and you are tossing away potential. Save it, and it fuels amazing things like smashing a workout or creating something dope. Nikola Tesla, the genius inventor, avoided this habit his whole life to keep his edge. The Stoics agreed, don't squander your energy on quick highs, channel it into your goals. Try this. Next time you feel the urge, hit the ground, hurt the ground for 20 push-on pour quiet. It burns off the energy and boosts your mood. Exercise also pumps up your confidence, making it easier to stay on track. Or get creative, write a story, sketch, build something. The Stoics loved using talents to add value to the world, and it's a solid way to turn your energy into something real. Imagine waking up every day buzzing with confidence. No guilt, no weakness, just raw energy. You're sharper, more driven, and totally in control. That's what breaking free feels like. Your body gets stronger. Your mind clears. Your ambition skyrockets. And you're the one running the show. That's the freedom the Stoics promised, not just ditching a habit, but becoming the man you're meant to be. It goes deeper. Men who quit masturbation say their relationships get better. They're more present with their partners, bolder in social settings, less jittery. One dude told me, it was like a fog lifted. I can finally connect with people. At work or school, you'll notice a boost. Without this habit draining you, without this habit. You might land a raise, start a project, or chase that dream you've been sitting on. It's like leveling up your productivity. Personal growth, huge. Beating this proves you can tackle hard stuff. That confidence spills over. Maybe you eat better, hit the gym, or pick up a hobby. It's a chain reaction. One win leads to more. Mental health gets a lift too. Less anxiety, less gloom, just a lighter vibe. You feel in charge of your emotions, and that control boosts your whole outlook. Plus, without chasing dopamine hits, you start enjoying small joys again. Take this guy I heard about, stuck for years, hooked on the habits. A year later, new gig, fit as hell, happy, he said. I woke up from a nightmare and found myself. That's the payoff. The challenge, it's up to you. So what's it gonna be? Stay trapped or take the wheel? Let this habit rob you or fight back. Your move. History's greats didn't let urges rule them. They owned themselves first. Ready to start? Here's how. Go small. One day at a time. Use the no streak to build steam. Get backup. Chat with a buddy or join a group. It's easier together. Dive into Stoicism. Check out The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. Short, practical lessons. Track it. Journal your triggers and wins. It keeps you honest. It's not about perfection. It's about moving forward. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Grab that power. Start now. Subscribe for more if you're in. Your best self is waiting.